Hey there, Nigerian XJW Speaks here. So it's late, but I wanted to get something on this week. I did not post a video on Wednesday like I normally would, and I've been trying to find the time to put something up just to speak to you and give you an update. And it's really just come right down to the end of the week, and so I'm just really trying to get something out. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. If it's your first time here, hi, hello, welcome. My name's Chigo. It's great to have you here. So, today, what I thought I'll speak on, especially the fact that I have app that I wasn't on Wednesday, that's because basically the seasons are changing. Times are changing. It's been a crazy sort of year anyway, but it feels like the seasons are changing. And so I wanted to give you an update on where I'm at in terms of my recovery. If it's your first time here, then, or you can see from the title of the channel maybe, that I am a former Jehovah's Witness from Nigeria. I had my waking up properly, I would say, around 2 years ago. That was when I properly did research. I had physically left before then, but I was mentally still all in. And it was just about 2 years ago that I actually did research and figured out that leaving was the right thing to do. And so I have a video where I've talked about the sort of emotions that I've gone through since then and how that's felt. I'll try and link that somewhere. And so at this point, it feels like things are changing, and I want to share that with you guys, my community, who have been such a great support to have. I'm not leaving. That's not what I'm saying. So I feel like there's been a lot of healing. There's been a lot of recovering. A huge part of what I noticed is a lot of the anger is gone. Anger was one of the emotions that I felt towards the start. And first, anger at the religion and the fact that it was what it was, and then sort of shifted, I'm not going to lie, to some extent, in processing the impact on the relationship with my family and what that's meant for it. And I would say that there has been some anger there. There has been some frustration. So a lot of striving, a lack of peace with what things were going to be. And I would say recently there's been a lot more of that, a lot more of making peace with the fact that things are going to be the way they are and being okay with it, not just telling myself to be okay, but actually when I sit down and think about it, there's a calm about it, there's a peace about it. And I was speaking to friends earlier this week, and this is, I mean, it's not okay, but there's a sort of peace about it, and the anger's gone. The other key thing that I noticed this week was there was an episode of a convention. So Lloyd Evans, who I talk about pretty much almost every video, one of the commentary on the conventions, and for the first time I noticed that I wasn't as interested, because here's the thing, it's the same thing they're talking about day in, day out, just different faces, different words, but it's essentially the same thing. You're not learning anything new. And for the first time, the interest in listening to them saying the same thing over and over again, wanting to hear the criticisms, it was significantly different. I was zoned out that I didn't even notice when it ended, you know. I've never had that before, and I'm going to take that as a good thing. They are occupying less of my brain to for me to be as invested in hearing, right, what are they talking about now. That I genuinely think if I didn't have family in there, I would completely like switch off. It would be about as relevant as my primary school was, which is, yes, I was there for 6 years, but I don't go around thinking about it. I've finished it, I've left it, it's gone. It'll be about as relevant as that. But of course, my family's still there, so I can't completely shut them off, especially the fact that they are costing me in terms of the relationship. But for me, noticing that was, oh, okay, this is different. This is a bit of growth. This is something else that's changed. And so I really love that. I really love that that's happening, and just seeing this sort of peace with it all, and just not something that's taking over my mind. And I have to be grateful for the events of this year that, yes, there's been some horrible bits, absolutely. So many lives have been lost that, even a single one is one too many. And so it's been awful in that way. But a lot of the other discussions that's come up, particularly about race, has been like a second awakening for me. I'm sure I've said this before, and actually it's sort of taking up some of my focus, some of my attention. It's like repurposing my brain power and my interest into learning about something else. And so, to be honest, in the last few months, that's a lot of where I've been. I have been really doing a lot of digging, really doing a lot of research, because, before now, I would say that the way I say it is that I was in La La Land. If things were being subtle in that way, I'm not going to see it. I am that person that's going to accuse people of playing the race card. That was me, and I just wouldn't see things. And so in the last few months, there's been a sort of education going on for me about the history of my people, the Black community, the events that have happened, what were things like, and realizing how colonized my mind was, and re-examining some of the things that I've done in the past that were just pure being colonized. Now, that is not to say, so my perspective, racism wasn't even something that was in my vocabulary for me, even though I had experienced it. I just put it down to, oh, there's just a couple of people from like a time gone by. Nothing about the systemicness of it and the global scale of it, and the fact that even though, quote unquote, things like colonization ended, which is what I'm most familiar with, being Nigerian, realizing that those people were still pulling the strings. And so my point is, that's where a lot of my brain power and research and studies going into. And I am pleased to be able to do this at a time where I'm not judging myself for having an opinion on things. This is a social issue. This is a welfare issue. This is a human issue. And so being able to engage meaningfully and fully without judging myself, that's been fantastic. That's where my mind's been a lot of the time. And so now, that is not to say I'm never going to talk about JW stuff, because we know they're always doing something crazy. So I think something I would like to look into is the recent ICSA hearings that they had. So like similar to the Australian Royal Commission of 2015, but that was in the UK, I think. So I'd like to do some research in that and share some thoughts with you. I want to ask you, watching, who either it's the first time here or you've been watching me for some time, is there a topic about the witnesses that you want me to cover that I haven't covered? Let me know so I can add that to my list of things to talk about. I can do that focused research. The point of having this channel was twofold. One, to provide information out there for anyone who is questioning, who is in that process of making their way out, but they're not sure if they're doing the right thing, they should even be asking questions, especially the part of the world where I was born, where questioning, there's definitely less of that. There is a culture of doing as you're told sort of thing. And so making it so they can see it's okay to ask questions. They won't be the first ones to have been in and have left, and to just be that, hey, you can do it, that you don't have to be there because everyone else is there. It's okay to ask questions and dig until you're satisfied. And then the second fold, honestly, was for my own recovery, for my own journey. And I would say that it has massively helped. It has massively aided the recovery process. I think I started pushing up videos in maybe end of February, March this year. So it's not been that long, about 6-7 months. And the relationships that have formed, the ways I've had to think through things and formulate my ideas. It's one thing doing research and knowing something. When you pass that on, it's like you go through it again and you think about it again and process my own feelings about them and actually openly share them. Because let's face it, most of the planet have no idea what it's like to have been in a religion like the witnesses, being born into it like I was in my case, a few generations on my mom's side. it's a fairly unique experience. And so to have a space online of people who have a similar background where I can express that and share that, the things that were shocking, the things that I found troubling, the rationale behind why I've left now, and sort of looking at things from the outside in a community of people, that has been fantastic. Now, I am still on a journey. There is the other page of, okay, now that we are leaving this behind mentally as well, and things not mattering as much, and a lot of those intense emotions being gone, I think that the space needs to be filled with something else, with the chapter that I want to go on to do and getting good at that. And so I think that is the direction I'm going. But I like where I'm going. I like the person that I'm becoming. I like that, I'm being open to learn and open to put myself forward to help in any way I can, even not necessarily to do with religion, but just being able to question things, just being free to explore and say what you think, but also importantly, being open to change your mind if presented with new evidence, with new information, and just adopting that approach in general. And that takes away so much pressure of being right, having to be, stuck in your ways, that you are afraid to say what you think because you feel like it's going to be held up against you. But if you're a person that, you keep an open door to being convinced by new evidence, there's absolutely no fear. And so I'm embracing that in the figuring out who I am, whether that's in work, whether that's in business, whether that's in any way. And so I guess that's where I'm going, and that's where I'm going to learn. And then the other thing I want to share with you guys, maybe related, probably not, but one of the things that come off from the last few months is the sort of curiosity, like I said, for the continent of Africa and what it was like, and before we have the current formation that we have now in the countries and things and different groups. And so I have been interested in my ancestry, and so I've taken a test. I'm going to do a video for that. I've sent in a sample. I think it's going to be back in around 4 to 6 weeks, so I'd like to share that. Why not? I share a bit of me, don't I? But yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's where things are at. Still identify as agnostic atheist, and I feel like I have to explain that, which is I am not convinced of the existence of the gods that I've heard about or learnt about. It's not a statement of fact saying that there is none, and I am open to being convinced because there is a lot that we don't know. But until then, I am not holding my breath. I am not, going to try and put something in there just to fill a space. The life is magnificent enough on its own without needing to insert things just because. So I think that was everything that I wanted to cover. Next Sunday, I believe, will be the last Sunday of the month. Let me just double check. So we are on the 23rd right now. So next Sunday, the 30th, is the last Sunday of the month, which if you're a regular here, you know what that means. That means it's time for a live stream. So we're going to do a live stream and talk about all the things that have happened throughout the month of August. And I want to hear from you. As always, I'll pull up some topics as well that I'm going to start with, and we're going to interact. If you're feeling up to it, if you want to dial in and chat with me, let's do that. Let's have a back and forth. I've always loved to do that, but yes, I wanted to get this out. So have a fantastic week ahead. Whenever you do see this, have a fantastic day. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your comments. Like I said, I want to know, what is there a topic related to the witnesses that you really want me to touch on that I haven't already done that? And like I said, ICSA is on my mind. If anything does come up out of the blues that I feel inclined to talk about, I will. But there's generally, it feels like a sense of this is no longer taking up as much space in my mind, and the interest in what they're getting up to is definitely taking a nosedive, and hopefully staying that way, because that is healing, that is recovery, that is making it not matter. All right, I am gonna put some videos somewhere around here for you to watch next. Subscribe if you haven't. I don't know why I'm doing this as well. Give the video a thumbs up if you like what you heard, and you want to be part of this community and part of just seeing what we're getting up to and how one recovery from this religion can look like. Okay, I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.